Every great world religion, including Christianity, has understood that there are strange things out there. When I hear about supernatural things, I naturally go to the Christian's understanding. Because yes, there's a lot of good in the world, but there's also evil. So a few days ago, that's what J.D. Vance said. J.D. Vance come out and he said that. He didn't say that they were aliens or nothing else. He literally said that he believes that they're demonic presence, that there is evil out there, and he believes that these are basically fallen angels. Not only that, why are top officials suddenly talking about UFOs in a spiritual term? Why are government officials having closed-door meetings with these pastors to warn the church and prepare the church? Why are these government disclosures causing people to ask if aliens are actually something far darker? And more importantly, as a Christian, I want to know if the Bible already warned us about this a long time ago throughout history and in the Bible. So the direct quote that Vice President J.D. Vance said was, "I don't think that they're aliens, I think they're demons anyways." Then he followed up with this: "Every great world religion, including Christianity, has understood that there are weird things out there. I naturally go where I hear about extranatural phenomenon, that where I go is the Christian's understanding. There's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil ones out there. I think one of the devil's greatest tricks is to convince people he never exists," talking about Jesus Christ. He also said it was obvious with UFO files and promise. J.D. Vance also said he was obsessed with the UFO files and he wanted to get to the bottom of it. And apparently there was a closed door meeting as well with some pastors, and they were told to prepare the churches for possible UFO disclosures and potential faith crisis. And the reports say that in this meeting that with these pastors, that they were told that people are going to start questioning their faith basically. If there's other creators in the galaxy, then Genesis is just a myth. Well, who thinks that Genesis is just a myth? I don't. I'm just saying, that's what this meeting is. It's to prepare the church because the evil one is going to be out and about on prowl, and he's going to deceive us. And remember, in Revelations, it talks about the great deceiver is going to deceive a lot of us whenever it comes to certain things. And that's why I wanted to bring up J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance says, "I think they're demons." That's what came out of Vance's mouth. That's not mine, that's not reporters, that's what came out of Vance's mouth. But apparently this meeting with the churches, though, with some of these pastors, it was a closed door. I can't remember what congressman it was, but there was no cell phones, nothing was supposed to be able to be in the meeting whatsoever. And they just discussed that a lot of people, to prepare the church basically, because a lot of people are going to believe that these entities or whatever is going on are the creators. Apparently they were told that they've already made contact, not that they've put this out there yet, but some of these people said in the meeting that they've already made contact and that they said that they are the creators and that they made the story of Jesus Christ just so they made the first religion just so we had something to base off of, but they are the creators, which of course we all know is Lucifer, which is the great deception. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into it in here. In the Bible, it does talk about the fallen angels. It discusses the Nephilims. It discusses the Watchers. So it does discuss other things that we don't see today that are possible aliens or what we would consider aliens. And that would be Genesis chapter 6, 1 through 4. I haven't gotten into it. I do have the book. I'm not sure if I really want to get into it just yet of the book of Enoch. So apparently Enoch, the great grandfather of Noah, wrote a book or had his own book as well. And they're saying that they took it out of the Bible because they didn't want conflicting or how did they put it? It was something that they took the book of Enoch out due to the controversy of what Enoch was saying compared to what the story is. So either we have the story of Enoch because God still wanted the story to be out there. Remember, nothing's done without God's permission, right? Everything is only done according to God. So if God did not want that story to be in the Bible or around for any of us to hear, then it wouldn't be there. I just said though, Satan, Lucifer, is the greatest deception of all, right? He is the deception, which we're going to get here in a minute, because this one right here kind of like made me kind of scratch my head a little bit. But I'm going to first off by saying, because I get a lot of people that sometimes think I'm crazy, I'm a loon, right? But we're going to go to John 18:36. Go to John 18:36. And Jesus says, "My kingdom is not of this world." And man, that is very, very powerful. Do you know why it is powerful? Because Christ makes a distinction between earthly kingdoms and spiritual kingdoms, or what some people say, earthly realm and spiritual realm. So if you really look at that, my kingdom is not of this world. Well, what can we see today? What can we see when we're looking out and about into the stars, and what telescopes we can see, or what we believe we can see? We have not been able to find life anywhere else. Maybe some bacteria or some allergy or something, unless that's where we're created. Our creator is that allergy. I don't believe that it is, or that bacteria on another planet. But again, we haven't been there to really take culture and do it. Just from our knowledge here in 2026, I believe today's May 12th, 2026, we have not found any other life outside of Earth. Saying that, God created the heavens. So again, like I said in the beginning, Pastor Mark, he was talking about, he created everything. Boom, we're here. And the Big Bang, and the Big Bang might be real. That was God. That was his finger snapping. Boom. There's a reason why the earth is here, the moon is here. If the moon was gone, we wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for that moon, our waves wouldn't move. If it wasn't for that moon, we wouldn't have no gravity. So again, they say, like even Mars, the further away we get from the sun, that's holding us down a little bit. Everything is in its correct order. But anyways, on Mars, you kind of like bounce just a little bit. They said that you bounced on the moon, right? If you believe that they went to the moon. I'm not saying that we've never been to the moon, but there are people out there that say that there's a firmament around the earth and we can't get through it, but yet we can see the stars. We can see all through it. I don't know. I don't have all those answers, and God didn't want us to have all the answers, but he did say quite a few times in the Bible, and especially in Revelations, look to the stars for signs and wonders, whether it was for the end times or whatever. He does say, look to the stars for signs and wonders. Hey, this next one, man, really got me. This one here, go back to Revelations. It talks about how Lucifer is the great deceptionist, and we're going to be deceived so many different times. You could be being deceived right now. I mean, we don't know what all is going on and who all has a hand in something. But in 2 Corinthians 11:14, for Satan himself transformed himself into an angel of light. Satan transformed himself into an angel of light. I just can't believe God let him have that type of power here, to transform himself into an angel of light. That is just crazy. But to me, this is a very, very strong verse because of the deception angel. He is literally the deception of evil. He's going to deceive us, and he deceives us every day. Every day he deceives us. Let's go to Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, power, rulers of the darkness. So that right there is the idea of spiritual warfare rather than pure physical explanations. The straight spiritual warfare. We know spiritual warfare is real. We do know that when God was here, remember, his kingdom is not of this world. His kingdom's not here. He's not from Earth. He's an alien, folks. What we know as an alien. Again, you might click off as soon as I say this, but what we believe an alien is that's coming from outside of our universe. We're not talking about illegal alien from a different country into another country. We're talking about someone that comes in on a spacecraft or comes in from another planet, possibly a different dimension. We don't know. We don't know how God created or what we did, but I can tell you this right now. God says, my kingdom is not of this world. Well, if it's not of this world, of what we can see here on the world, then where is he from? He's from a different galaxy. He's from a different, if we have realms, he's from a different realm. He's from a different dimension, wherever the spiritual realm lives. And what I do know of Book of Enoch says that there is 7 layers of heaven. You got to go through 7 different layers, or some say 10 layers. Again, I haven't read the book. I've heard different stories, but 7 to 10 layers of heaven, and they got different stacks for it. So, really and truly, to me, that would make sense, because that to me would be what we know of our minds and how we interpret things in movies. Star Trek, for instance, we go through different wormholes, or with light speeding, go through different galaxies as we're going through wormholes or black holes. You know, we're going through, and we're getting to different places that's outside of our solar system. Each one outside them solar systems might be what Enoch talks about, the 7 or 10 levels of heaven. Again, you can call me a quack. I'm not conspiracy theory. I just follow what the Bible says. And that's what this is about. This is about, what does the Bible say about aliens or anything? God himself told you he was an alien. He says, my kingdom is not of this world. Remember, go back into the Bible. I don't care what version you have. Go to John 18:36. My kingdom is not of this world. And I believe he also told Pilate, my kingdom is not of this world. If so, I wouldn't be where I am. My angels would already have fought my battles for me, meaning he wouldn't have been there. And if he was in his spiritual realm, then there would be no need for him to do what he needed to do for us. He just wants us in his kingdom with him. We can go to 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not the spirit, but try the spirits. This is a very strong discernment, especially useful in discussing alien contact. The spirits. We talk about spiritual warfare. We talk about evil spirits and good spirits. There is both. We have both good and bad evil spirits. Well, what do we know of spirits? Spirits are supposed to be something that's not walking around with us, that is outside of us. And again, like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot, but Genesis 6, 1 through 4, it talks about the Nephilims, the Watchers, the falling angels, which I'm not going to really go into this that heavy at all. All I'm going to say is, you had the archangels, right? We know of Gabriel, Michael, and Lucifer. So we know of 3 of the archangels. So, and with those 3, we know Lucifer was a fallen angel. Well, apparently when God created man, these archangels, they literally awed over God's creation. Like, oh my, you made the best looking women. You made an awesome creation. And they wanted it. So whenever those fallen angels fell, they come down here. Part of their falling was they bred. They literally mated with humans. So how I'm going to put it about the fallen angels and breeding with the female humans is mythology. Let's go to Greek mythology. So Greek mythology, as far as like Hercules, stuff like that, is that some of the gods, what they call gods, which obviously Zeus was still their number one god, right? He was the ruler, and then everybody else had a part as well. But we can look at it, if we look at it as a Christian, as a Christ Bible standpoint, Zeus is God. All the other ones are archangels. Those archangels come down, they bred, and then they had, Hercules, and what is the other one? Perseus, and a few other ones that had powers of the gods. Well, according to, for the Nephilims, they were just a beast. They were massive beasts, overpowered beasts. And apparently Noah's flood wiped them out. But we get a small glimpse of one, though, later on, way after Noah's flood, in David. King David from Psalms. David and Goliath, we all know the story. Goliath was supposed to have been one of these huge, massive giants, and apparently he's supposed to be a descendant, or he come from the Nephilim time. So, did everything not get killed during the flood? We had to believe God, right? We believe God that Noah and his family were the only ones left over. But yet years later, though, we still had the Nephilims. Or did another angel come down and breed with one of the women afterwards that was just never recorded? We don't know. We want to know where some of these UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them today in 2026, we want to know where they're at, where they're from, who they're from. Are we the only ones in the world? Well, the Bible is pretty vague on that. The Bible just wants us to know that we are created by God. God created us. This is what he did for us, and this is the rules that he wants us to follow. He never said or didn't say, I created life on another planet, another galaxy, another this, another that. He never said none of that. We can only assume, but why are we so worried about assuming of what's out there when we need to assume and worry about what's right here in front of us? I need to assume that the Spirit is talking to me to bring you this sermon. Well, I can't really say it's a sermon, to bring you this message, right? I got to pray and I have to hope and put my trust in God that the Spirit is leading me to lead you, to bring this out there to you, right? Because the deception is for real. And I believe now with opening up, whether they're really going to give us all the files or not on this, I believe that there's going to be a lot more deception. The Antichrist is going to be on the scene pretty soon. I do believe. I'm 47. Yeah, I'm 47. I'll be 48 this year. But yeah, I'm going to be 48 this year. I believe that in my lifetime, if the Lord does not strike me or get rid of me between now and the time that I die, if the average male lives to be 85, 90, if I live to be 80, 85, I got 30-something more years on this earth, right? On this planet. I believe that in the next 30 years, I do believe that I will see the shift and the coming of God. If not, I'm going to die. And within a few years after I die, the Lord will be back and I will be risen again. That is just me. That is how close I believe that we are there from the knowledge that I have of the Bible, my knowledge of the Bible. That's just me though. The technology though, again, food for thought. His kingdom is not of this world. Mary got pregnant, a miraculous pregnancy, right? Somebody came to her in the middle of the night, the angel came to her. We now have artificial insemination right now, where you don't even have to have sex with your wife and get her pregnant. They can do it a different way. Look, technology, we are just gotten to this technology over the last, two decades or so, the last 10 to 20 years, where we can do artificial insemination. Again, what if that is something that angel did for God, or that's what God did to put himself in another form? And then it says in the Bible, he ascended to heaven. He ascended. Whoop! Beam me up, Scotty. Okay, we don't know. They don't know what they were seeing back then. It was just very bright. It was a big bright light. Maybe the sky ripped open into another dimension. Maybe there was a spacecraft above Earth, or that big bright light, whenever they said that there was a bright light, maybe that was the light of the spacecraft that came. We don't know. All we know is it says that his kingdom is not of this world, and he ascended into heaven. Beam me up, Scotty, once again. So that's just my take a little bit on this. Again, at the same time, I'm a pretty logical person. I don't believe that we're gonna have these spacecrafts rolling around here saying, bring me to your leader. I don't believe all that. I do believe that there's gonna be deception. I do believe that the Antichrist, or whatever Lucifer has planned and what God has planned, is in play right now as I speak to you all. I believe it is here. And I believe that we all need to get to the Word of God as much as we can. We need to get into this book. I try to have one in every room. I have a wristband on. I need to get to it even more, but at the same time, I just think that we need to be here and we need to focus on the correct things in here. Don't get me wrong, we got to focus on the past, which is the Old Testament, right? We got to focus on this. But I think, though, if you focus more on the New Testament and you learn from Paul, once formerly Saul, which is now Paul, you learn from Paul and learn, I believe that's what we got. We got Acts, Corinthians, what else is Paul? Paul's in quite a few. But I believe if we literally dive deep and we really do what we're supposed to do, I think that it will be an eye-opener for you if you get to certain books of the Bible. And I do want to talk about certain books in the Bible, but I do know that this is already long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and kill it there. I'm Thomas. Thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I'm going to bring more content like this out there. So hit that thumbs up, hit that bell icon, leave a comment down below, leave your prayer request down below. Check out this video here, or this one, or wherever I put it. Check out one of the videos I put up if you haven't already seen it. Love y'all all, brothers and sisters in Christ, and catch you in the next one.